What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Supernaturals.
Hello.
We're your hosts, Jake and Cal.
Hi.
So,
Sometimes I wish we had a theme song.
Like
that
what?
one's more chill. I would like a more upbeat song.
what,
I don't know. You could dance to it.
Should we have like different
I think we can
songs
change
for different tones?
Maybe, or we could just change the intro every season. So
Yeah,
we'll
we could
talk
do
about
that.
it.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Curious on your thoughts.
Send in your
I
comments.
don't know. Just popped in my head.
Fair enough. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking a little bit about a movie that is coming out, or I guess the prequel. This episode is going to be technically the prequel to another episode that we're doing next week, which will be about one of our favorite. Jesus Christ.
Are you okay? We're talking about Pearl and X today.
Yes. Thank you.
And that's the prequel movies to Maxxxine.
Maxxxine, which is a anticipated horror movie coming out in literally 2 weeks. So, yeah.
I'm not the only one that fumbles out here.
No, you're not.
Just kidding.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
Just kidding.
All right. So yeah, oh, my bad. I just hit your fucking knee. Trying to get comfy, man. Sorry, my bad.
I'm
fucking
right
flustered. I'm flustered right now. Much like Pearl was in the movies. Whoa. Look at that shit, everybody. Crazy. Almost like I've been doing this for like a month.
What's great about these movies is they come from A24.
Exactly. Which, if you guys listened to our last episode, A24 is one of our favorite studios. They allow directors to have the creative freedom that they truly want. And yeah, well, the majority of the movies, horror or not horror, they could be pretty fucking weird.
Very out there.
But we love it. And I mean, honestly, it's something that when you go into an A24 film, you could pretty much, like, I guess, know that you're guaranteed to not have seen like anything like it before.
Oh, 100% originality.
I guess the only thing you could probably think is this reminds me of another A24 film. You know?
Just because of the artistic style,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's the same director, or, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Exactly.
yeah, speaking of A24 directors, there's Ari Aster, who did Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. He did Midsommar,
Mm-hmm.
which is also good. And then he did that one, Beau is Afraid.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Neither have I, but our other friend, Danny, shout out Danny, said that it was a wild 3-hour ride. So we'll have to watch that. I don't think it's horror, but yeah, the first two that we've seen, I mean, Hereditary and Midsommar were pretty good.
Shout out Florence.
Florence Pugh, yeah, she's fantastic. And then one of my favorite directors is Robert Eggers. He did The Witch and fucking The Lighthouse.
Right.
And
Which
he also,
I haven't seen.
You haven't seen The Lighthouse?
I haven't.
Damn. Well, The
I know
Lighthouse.
I need to.
Dude, so the fucking Lighthouse. When I first found out that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, I was like, fucking Edward from Twilight, are you kidding me? I was like, hey, fucking, I'll admit it, I was one of the doubters for sure. And then I saw, literally at the time of his casting or whatever, the movie The Lighthouse came out, and I saw he was in it, and I liked Willem Dafoe. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'll watch it. After I watched The Lighthouse, I was like, yeah, Batman's in safe hands. I'm like, this is my boy. We're good. And sure enough, I was right. The Batman is awesome. Robert Eggers also did The Northman.
Fantastic movie.
Yep.
But not A24.
No, I think it was Universal who did The Northman, or Paramount. One of the two. I can't fucking I know. I just know it was one of the bigger studios, and it was definitely it was one of the bigger movies from like other studios, from like the big guys, that felt like an A24 film. And
Totally.
that obviously is because of Robert Eggers, but
Yeah, it was a very
good.
artistic styled movie,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, one, obviously, I know I talked about this before, but my favorite movie and comes from this studio. Obviously, Talk to Me. Right?
Talk to Me. Yeah.
Dude, shout out Raka Raka.
Yeah.
Great movie. I love it. My top movie so far. It's just been unbelievable. Watched it 5 or 6 times already. And every time I see the scene with the kid smashing his face.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry, everybody. I forgot about that. So today we're going to be diving pretty deep into these movies. I mean, so if you haven't seen them either, you know, if we like name drop a movie, skip ahead like 10 seconds until we're done talking about it, or just go watch it and then.
True. Big time spoilers in here.
Especially for X and Pearl, because that's what the entire episode is about.
Yeah, we're deep diving those.
We're going to talk about plots. We're going to talk about kills. We're going to talk about everything that we enjoyed, performances, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, with that, spoiler.
Anyway. No, that
you know what
movie
I
was
think
great.
Sorry, I just really quick. I think
Sure.
I'm at some
Thought
point
pop in your head.
Yeah, I think at some point I want one of our merch things to have it'd be a sweatshirt that just says spoiler on it with like an exclamation point.
That's not bad.
That's pretty funny.
Because we do have a lot of those.
We do have a lot of spoiler warnings.
No, anyway, back to what I was saying. If I can guide this train back here.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I just had a merch thought.
All good. Yeah, no, that movie's great. Fantastic editing, directing, every acting, all of the above. It was just phenomenal.
Talk to Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another one that I liked as well. Shout out Nick Cage again. I feel like we're talking about Nick Cage all the time.
Dude, Nick Cage, he's it's weird to say that an actor who had his prime in like the 90s has like another prime like now.
It's almost that Taylor Swift effect going on, right?
God, fucking Taylor Swift.
But it's like this a similar
Jake's
thing.
a Swiftie confirmed.
I never said that. I cannot confirm or deny anything.
No,
however,
I know what you're saying.
However, Dream Scenario is a great movie, dude.
Yeah.
You need to watch that
Yeah, still
movie.
haven't seen it.
It's so good. It's just the plot is crazy. It's an original idea that I was like, whoa, this dream thing is crazy.
Yeah.
But no, Nick Cage, man. Talking about him all the time, and I want to see more from him. I think this dude needs to be in more A24 films.
He seems like he has that kind of like A24 vibe to him, doesn't he?
He does.
I mean, especially with
Mysterious thing going on right now.
yeah, I mean, obviously we can talk about the other studio that is kind of A24-esque, which is Neon.
Yep.
And Neon was pretty. They're releasing some bangers. They did Infinity Pool, which we love.
True. They're
Also
on
has
the
Mia
rise,
Goth.
man.
They had Immaculate, which I have voiced that I was a big fan of, and then they're coming out with Long Legs, which has Nick Cage.
That's Neon?
That's Neon.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
Okay. Jake's excited.
I honestly didn't know what studio was putting that out.
Yeah,
That's
Long Legs is
interesting.
Neon,
Cool.
dude. Yep. It's fucking.
No wonder it's crazy right
I
now.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting out a lot of good stuff. Wow.
That other one too with Hunter Schafer, Cuckoo or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Neon.
Yes,
That one looks good
I do
too.
know that. I've seen posters and trailers for that already,
Yeah,
all over the place.
That one looks pretty fucking good too.
Mhm.
You know, I think a big reason why I like A24 is because, yeah, they allow the creative freedom, but you know it just feels like every scene or every movie is like almost experimental. Like in the way that they shoot it, or maybe it's like, you know, that's probably why all these studios turn down these like weird ass movies and then they get picked up by A24.
It's true, but they also have to be kind of picky because, as we saw a couple days ago with IFC, right?
Yeah.
We watched a very experimental movie kind of flop.
Yeah, we went to go see In a Violent Nature, which is a horror movie by IFC where it was pretty low budget. I don't even think it has a rating. Like it's like NR.
Yeah,
rated.
it was not rated.
And I think, yeah, I mean, it was
Cinema
experimental. Yeah,
Right.
the cinematography was beautiful, but it shows this Jason-esque character just walking around a forest. Like the camera follows the killer as he walks through the woods and just kills these teenagers.
Yeah.
Just like a regular slasher movie, but the twist is that you're following the killer. However, I mean, I was excited for it. I thought, I mean, the idea of not having any like music in it at all and just having like the sounds of nature, that was pretty smart, right? Like, it's like, okay. And I get
It was cool.
the point of the movie was
It was
like,
just very slow.
Yes.
Very slow paced movie.
yeah. And
Which sometimes aren't bad. But it just
I
felt
think-
too long.
yeah,
And we talked about it after the movie that it should have just been a short film.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, because there was way too many shots of just like
You just-
ever extending shots of the killer just walking through the woods. And I get it. The whole point of the movie is to show like, oh, there's violence in nature and stuff. But good God, man, like, you gotta, pacing is a big part of why people get entertained in movies. And the
Right.
pacing of that movie was just,
Yeah, we
wasn't
saw
good.
people leave the theater.
yeah, we did. Yeah. But I mean, I've seen people leave A24 films.
It's
You
true
know.
because they are different.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not for everybody. You could probably love In a Violent Nature, but I
They
think.
did have one good scene in it, though, that I loved.
Which one?
The campfire scene. Where you
Yeah.
actually were learning about the characters a little
Yeah.
bit, seeing the douchebags, the nice people.
Uh huh.
And the way it was shot it was circling the fire around them as they're having a conversation. And I just thought that was a really cool way to shoot a conversation.
Yeah. I think it does kind of go back to what we talked about in the last episode, where what really makes a good horror movie is characters that you care about.
Totally.
I mean, I actually was more interested in the douchebag characters than I was the killer, which is so weird to think about because I usually am more interested in the killer than I am the douchebag characters. But I think it's like I've gotten so, I don't know, this shows me that no matter how horrible a character is written, I would rather watch them than watch like Jason just walking through the woods.
Oh, 1,000%.
I think that proved that for sure.
But
Still root for the killer, though.
you know one character we care about a lot.
Who?
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth. No matter what the fuck she's in, we love Mia Goth.
Everything that she's a part of,
We're
love.
We're big fanboys of Mia Goth.
That we are.
I mean, dude, so she's in Infinity Pool. Pretty sure we talked about Infinity Pool.
We have.
But yeah, God, her like screaming, chaotic, freaky, just like
She plays the psycho role way too well.
I hate to say it, but I love it.
I'd love to get her on and ask her what goes through her head during those scenes.
I'd be in love every time.
Cal would just jaw dropped.
Yeah, I would just be like staring at her,
And she'd be like, "Are you gonna say something?"
be like, I love you. I love you. Did you know she's married to Shia LaBeouf?
I did.
Yeah, what fucking lucky ass. Same with Wiki, bro. No sacrifice, no victory.
Yeah, I did know that. It's interesting, but yeah, everything she touches is gold.
Yeah, especially. Actually, she's gonna be in the new Blade movie for Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's
Totally
gonna
forgot
play
about that.
a bad guy. Now, if you give me a vampire Mia Goth, I am there. Opening night. The dude. Oh my God. Jake's gonna have to drag me out of that theater.
Probably. Cal's crush, everybody.
I do love Mia Goth. Yeah. I hate to say it, but you know me well. You know that I definitely have a thing for unstable women. It's the only way I can put it.
Someone's got to love them, right?
Hey man, I don't know. I think I said something when we were watching Pearl, or was it X? She's which one was it that she just goes fucking ballistic? And then I was like, if she screamed at me like that, was it X?
No, I thought it was Pearl. Where she
Was it
screamed.
Pearl?
I think
Yeah,
so.
there's one of the movies where we were just watching and she's like screaming at the person, and I'm like, bro, if Mia Goth screamed at me like that, it's like on. I don't know. Anyway,
we're big fans of her.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely the new scream queen for me.
Yep, top tier, great actress, and we love her in these movies.
Yeah, and so today, I mean, obviously with Maxxxine coming out, we wanted to talk about Pearl and X. In that order, by the way. I know X came out before Pearl. That is the way that we watched them, and probably you guys too if you've seen them already. But during our rewatch, we decided to watch Pearl first because chronologically it does happen first, right? Pearl is about the old woman who is in X. So we kind of want to talk about Pearl a little bit.
So take a second. If you haven't seen them, highly suggest going and watching those before proceeding. Otherwise, you're going to hear a lot of spoilers.
There's going to be a lot of talking. We're going to go through every kill. We're going to go through every...
Yeah, just everything we've liked.
Yeah, and then just the plot like as a whole. Because, I mean, we saw the trailer for Maxxxine, and it looks good, but I want to go through the first two movies and then kind of discuss where we think Maxxxine is gonna go.
Right.
So why don't you take them through the story of Pearl?
Sure. So first off, you find out Pearl starts in this farmhouse. It's a daughter, Pearl, and her mom and dad. She is married to her husband, Howard, who is away at war, and she is helping her mom take care of her dad. Her dad got sick from the Spanish flu and is basically paralyzed, can't take care of himself at all. He has to get spoon-fed food, bathed by either Pearl's mom or her.
Dude, by the way, that would fucking suck.
Some also weird stuff when she's bathing in front of him too.
Oh yeah, like turn his head the other way, you know?
Right. Anyway, so she's helping take care of her family and living there, and she wants to get away from that life. She wants to make it big as being a star.
I'ma be a fucking movie star. Yeah.
So she goes into town to get medicine for her dad, and she goes and watches a movie and meets the projectionist who runs the theater.
Which, by the way, is just really quick. Found out that's the new Superman.
It is. Shout out. Good job on him.
His name's like David Corn Sweet or something.
Yep.
But yeah, shout out Clark Kent. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So she meets him. She actually likes him a lot, and he shows her a nice dirty film.
Oh yeah.
And tells her that she could be in one of those films as well.
By the way, this all takes place in 1918, so it's like super old school.
Yes, very old school
adult films.
Yep, like framed reels.
Yeah, they were silent. Do you remember? It was like it would show them like, you know, doing all the shit, and then all of a sudden it would like have a black screen, and in quotations it'd be like, "Oh yes, that feels good," and then it would like go back to.
Yep. So he hypes her up on this dream, and she goes and tells her mom and her dad that she wants to be a part of the
pictures.
Yep, be a part of the pictures and be a showgirl and dance. So her mom hates that idea, doesn't want her to leave, thinks that she is way above the family by thinking like that, and kind of shuts down her dream.
Yeah. There's some resentment there because you can tell the mom
doesn't want to be doing it either, because she wanted a husband, not someone that can't take care of themselves, right? Exactly. So like it makes you feel really bad for her. And so Pearl decides to do it anyway. She goes and tries out for the show. They tell her
first a lot happens. That's like
this is the main story.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not talking all the kills yet. the main
she kills
story.
A few people before that, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But we'll get into the kills. I'm just saying as a whole.
Yeah.
She goes and tries out after doing some bad things, and gets declined. They don't want her. They want an American girl, younger, blonder, prettier.
Mm-hmm.
And that set her off.
And that's the story of Pearl.
That is.
Now, let's go through the kills.
Dun, dun, dun.
My favorite part of any slasher film.
Insert Michael Myers music.
No, but the first kill on the board for Pearl, young Pearl, is my favorite. So at the beginning of the movie, when we find out she's kind of psycho. Oh yeah, she also fucks a scarecrow.
Yeah,
she does.
she does.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's crazy important, but it's an interesting scene.
Oh, it's a very interesting scene that I think it's important because it makes you go, okay, yeah, this girl's got a couple screws loose. So, I mean, I would say it's decently important. You kind of know, okay, yeah, no, she's
psycho.
Or she could just be horned up. I mean, taking care of her fucking dad and stuff, and
you know, her husband's not there.
Her husband's gone, and she's just, yeah, she could just be just horned up.
It's possible. It is possible.
Anyway, so we watched Pearl like a day ago or 2 days ago, and I haven't been able to stop saying this. But basically, during the first kill, like it's towards the beginning of the movie, and she's walking through like saying what's up to the cows and like all the farm animals she has, and all of a sudden this fucking goose just walks in. She puts this pitchfork up on her shoulder, and she's just looking at him, and she goes, "Mr. Goose."
Great impression.
Thank you. She goes up to the goose and obviously stabs it with a pitchfork, and then she takes it down to the dock and then feeds it to her alligator, which she, I guess, is good friends with because she calls it by name and it comes up to the dock. So yeah, there you go.
I mean, wouldn't you come to food too? Because
I think, yeah, but I mean, I think it shows like that she's obviously done that on a number of occasions.
Yes.
If the alligator's just like trained.
Right.
So yeah, Mr. Goose gets fucked.
Oh, poor goose.
Next up, I mean, would you count the alligator egg as one?
Sort of.
There's like blood in it, so I mean,
yeah, a little bit. She takes one of the eggs from its nest.
Yeah, and then, I guess they're not the best of friends because she. Yeah.
That's where you see some psychoness as well.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I thought the alligator was your friend, but you're also destroying what it just created.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a little interesting.
She's like, yeah, alligators got more.
But I think
a whole bunch.
I think one of the most important pieces to talk about here is the projectionist.
Yeah.
Right. And his whole role after he takes Pearl back to her house after sleeping with her.
Yeah. So they start to kind of fall for one another, and then she takes him to her farmhouse, and while he's there, he starts to notice. This was after the mom and her got into a big fight. The mom got like burned like horribly, and she threw the mom in the cellar. And then the dad, obviously, he can't move or speak or anything. So she brings the projectionist in the house. She brings Superman in. and they start making out up in the bedroom. But he starts seeing, some stuff's kind of like out of place. And then that's when he goes, like, he keeps hearing that sound. There's like some banging and
he
stuff.
Goes downstairs and sees the corn on the ground.
Yeah, and then he's like, what the hell is this? And then she's there, and she's like, oh, yeah, it's our dog. And he's like,
kind of makes sense.
Like, yeah, for sure, I get it. And then she's like, oh, you want to see the farm animals? So she goes down to the barn, starts introducing them to all the farm animals and stuff. Unfortunately, Mr. Goose isn't there anymore. So, and then he's kind of sitting there, and you could tell. I mean, his radar is up, right? Like his
flags are flagging.
Yeah, red flags flying. So then he goes, "What about your dog? What's your dog's name?" And she's like, "Oh, we don't have a dog." And he's like, "Didn't you just say you had a dog?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah."
The gears are spinning. He's things are clicking for him.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, yeah."
How he gets out of that is amazing.
So that's something that Jake and I were talking about too, is we're like, is there any other way that he could have diffused that situation? And we can't think of one. He kind of said all the right things. He's like, oh, I have to get going because there's like a matinee that I have to go do. And then he's like, I'll see you around. Like, and she's like, but like, why'd you just go cold on me? And he's just, I'm not.
And she's reading him.
Yeah. And she's picking up on his vibe for sure, which I thought was pretty decent. I
Yeah.
mean, you could tell his son was a little off, but it was like not to the extent
Right.
of, so then he's like, she keeps pushing the issue and he's just, oh, well, hey, it's all good. Like, I'll see you later, all this kind of stuff. And then she's, well, I ain't done nothing wrong. So why are you leaving me? And then he's just like, Pearl, you're scaring me. Like, he finally says, he's like, you're freaking me out. So then he leaves. He gets in the car. Pearl gets her signature weapon, the pitchfork, just fucking goes up to him and just fucking, and then.
Yeah, she stabs him twice in the car. He falls out.
Yep.
Starts crawling on the ground, and then she gets over top of him, and boom, right through the
mouth.
Right through the mouth.
Yep. So projectionist, Superman, R.I.P.
Gone.
And then she goes on to her show, or her contest or whatever.
Her audition.
Her audition.
Yes.
Thank you. And then before she does those, she takes a pillowcase and suffocates the dad to death.
Yep.
Just
Just done.
pretty sad. And then she goes to the audition. And then
She tries out in that creepy church.
Yeah, creepy ass church.
And like the crosses are like glowing red inside. It's just like one spotlight on the stage and then 4 judges just sitting there like staring at her.
Yeah.
She tries out, fails completely.
Yep.
They don't like her. Like I said, they want a younger blonde woman. And turns out her sister-in-law,
Who is Howard's? Yeah, Howard's sister.
yeah, can't remember her name, Minxie or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's also trying out that day.
Uh-huh.
And turns out she's blonde,
Yep.
good looking,
Yep.
and she gets the role.
Yeah. But Pearl doesn't know that yet.
She doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
And she sees Pearl sad and decides to take her home, which sounds oddly similar to how she got the projectionist there as well. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You know? She gets taken home. Howard's sister notices some weird stuff going on, like the pig that they gave them was now maggot infested.
Yeah.
Things are not right in the house, but she sits down with Pearl anyway and tries to see what's going on.
Yep.
And at that moment, Pearl has a crazy monologue.
Mia Goth's acting in this monologue was like just peak.
Yeah, oh, so good. 5+ minutes of just camera on her.
Yeah.
One like looks like potentially one shot.
Yeah. And then they just like, it kind of cuts back and forth at first when she's like, oh, I just think there's something wrong with me and all this. And then it shows the other girl and she's just like, oh, okay. Like you could tell there's a look of sympathy. And then all of a sudden there, like the one shot starts when she starts admitting to everything that she's done. She's like, oh, it shouldn't have been this easy for me to kill him, but I did. The projectionist and then my mom and my dad and all this and then blah, blah, blah. And then it's so funny because after when they cut back to the sister-in-law and her face is just like, so I'm gonna get going.
Yeah.
And she didn't play it off nearly as good as the projectionist did.
No, she didn't.
So, she's like, okay, well, I'm going to leave now. And Pearl's like, well, it'll be our little secret, right? And she's like, yeah, of course. She leaves. Then there's the beautiful shot, literally so creepy, where the sister-in-law is running down so first she starts walking, kind of like fast down the long driveway of the farm. And then you just see Pearl come out in her red dress and like the girl starts like doing these little double takes, and then she sees Pearl pick up the axe and she just starts like walking back. And it was just like she starts picking up speed and Pearl's just speed walking and then she catches up to her and just starts hacking into her back. And then Jesus Christ, she just kills her.
Yeah, that was the end of her.
And then there's those super slow-mo shots of like her just fucking hacking her up.
Oh yeah,
like the
feeding it to the alligator.
feeding it to the gator.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And then she goes back to the house, grabs her mom, her dad, sets them at the table,
Yep.
puts the maggot-infested pig as the centerpiece of the table.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, guess who shows up?
Howard.
Howard comes home.
Howard.
He comes home and he's looking for Pearl, and he finds her family all set up, dead at the table. And then Pearl walks in looking at him and then just smiles with joy because obviously she hadn't seen her husband in a while.
She's like, my Howard.
But he's in pure shock.
Oh yeah, as you do.
Yeah, if I was to walk
as you
into
do.
that, I'd be going like, what the fuck is going on
I'd
here?
be like, oh, okay, so my mother-in-law and dad and father-in-law are just fucking dead? Okay.
Yeah, and
Right.
and that's where the movie ends, with the crazy, crazy long scene of, once again, a stellar performance by Mia.
Yeah, so I compare it to Sydney Sweeney in Immaculate. I mean, the performance of these young actresses in those scenes, they're fucking, they got a
High stress,
that's
dude.
so much work, man. So in Immaculate, if you guys have seen it, if you haven't, then just skip like 10 seconds past this. But Sydney Sweeney has a fucking kid, like the demon child, and she just screams into the camera like it's fogging up the lens and stuff, for like 3 minutes. And it's like, God, that exhausted me just watching it. Like, holy shit. So then in Pearl, it's kind of a similar thing where she's like, oh, Howard. And then she just stares into the camera with this like fucking big grin and just keeps staring into the camera as the credits start to roll. And it's just, you can tell the like pain in her face from just staring and like smiling that long. Like you can see like her eyes start like to redden, and then her, like they start watering, and then like a tear streams down her cheek, and then she's like, you can tell like veins start popping out on her head, and like her neck muscles start like twitching and stuff. Like you can tell like that had to be so fucking exhausting.
At the same time, there's the music shift as well.
Yeah. So the beauty of Pearl is that it feels kind of unlike X, right? X was more,
It's colorful.
yeah. Pearl was very colorful, kind of Wizard of Oz-esque.
Mm-hmm.
The saturation was up, and everything was super just bright. And then the music was all happy, like kind of like I would compare it to like Matilda shit,
Definitely.
And then all of a sudden, during her smiling at the end, the music shifts to this like creepy ass like violin, like modern kind of, which it's not the cheesy violin that we were talking about.
No, it was different.
It was definitely different. I mean, it could just be the fact that we spent, an hour and a half listening to the happy kind of show tune type music.
Right.
And then the shift to the nowadays stuff, which, could be that. But the shift in tone, along with her just staring into your soul, I mean, that gets you.
Yes, it does.
that gets you, man. Oh, Mia Goth, I love you.
Well, and that's the end of Pearl. And now we go 61 years later.
Yep.
And
To
a group of
adult filmmakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of them including a girl named Maxxine.
Mia Goth.
Once again, they show up and rent this little bunkhouse out that is rented at the same property that Howard and Pearl own.
Yeah, so let's go through the cast first.
Yeah.
So first there's Wayne, who's the kind of I would say
he's the producer.
He's the guy who like runs the whole thing.
Yep.
His girlfriend Maxxine, who's a adult actress.
Mia Goth.
Yep. Then there's Bobby Lynn, who's Brittany Snow.
Yep.
Aka, excuse me. You Aka bitch. Jake, get your head out of your ass. It's not a hat.
I love that movie.
No, it's fucking good. And then there's Kid Cudi.
Yep.
Who plays, by the way, his adult actor name is Jackson Hole. I just found that shit so funny. And then there's the shaggy looking guy. I don't know his name. Sorry, I've never seen him in anything else. He just looks like Shaggy. I don't know why. He looks like the Evil Dead guy.
Yeah.
The one that we were talking about that also looks like Shaggy, who opens the book and all that shit. I don't know why these movies got to have a Shaggy guy in it. I guess, whatever. None of them say zoinks, which pisses me off. But and then his girlfriend, who's the audio girl, who's Jenna Ortega.
Yep.
Which I like Jenna Ortega too. She's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to this farmhouse, same farmhouse, and they meet an old dude named Howard, and he's like, oh yeah, my wife is kind of sick or whatever. And he's like, so I want you to just not kind of bother us. So the gang starts their whole thing, you know, they're filming movies, a lot of boobs, a lot of banging pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then
making some dirty films.
Yep, some dirty films, because the shaggy looking guy, he's the one who's filming it all, and he's like, I think it's right. I could make a good dirty movie.
Yep. He's all about the cinema of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then basically the old lady comes down, and by the way, the old lady, so obviously if you guys don't know, but it's fucking Pearl.
Yeah.
She's just old now. And the old guy is Howard, her husband. And Pearl, the old lady, is also played by Mia Goth, right, as she was back in
Which
Pearl.
is crazy because they do a really good job on her.
I know. So under all the prosthetics and stuff, it is still our Mia Goth playing her crazy ass Pearl. It's just the older version. And she basically sees, okay, these people are like, they're hooking up. And so she kind of becomes infatuated with Maxxine, who's also Mia Goth. And yeah, so I you know, it's crazy because she starts getting obsessed with Mia Goth and everybody else, but mostly Maxxine.
She reminds her.
And it reminds her of herself. Now, we kind of got that when we first watched X, but you know, before watching Pearl, I kind of figured, okay, it's just an old lady who hasn't gotten any in a long time. So she's just like pissed.
Yeah, you think it's a sex thing, right?
Which like it kind of is, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like it is a lot deeper than that.
You get a lot more context when you have Pearl behind it.
Exactly. So yeah, it's cool because there's a lot of different things in these movies, like a lot of different actions that the old Pearl does that, you know, make a lot of sense when you watch Pearl first. Because then she does the same kind of shit in Pearl, and then you're like, oh, okay, so that's why she was doing that in X.
Yep.
And I mean, it's cool. I don't need like a backstory for, you know, Jason Voorhees, like more than what we get and stuff. But I do think it's kind of important when a character is doing some weird shit. If you have something like a prequel of,
or not necessarily even a prequel, just a backstory to the character.
You can have a book or something too.
Yeah.
Like if you have a book that like leads into the movie or something, I mean, that still explains some of the behavior about why this person is doing it, which I think is good. I think having a villain like have a flushed out story and explain why they're doing this crazy shit, I think is a good idea.
Rob Zombie's Halloween. That's why I like it so much. You just explained why I like that. There you go.
Yep. It's true though. I mean, I try to do that with my books and shit too. I don't know if I'm successful at it, but I mean, I try. I think it's definitely good to have I mean, you could see it with Marvel movies too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you just get villains who are just there just so the superhero can just beat them up and just win. But then there's other Marvel villains like Thanos who have like actual reasons that like actually is a conversation among viewers, and they're like, well, Thanos is kind of right. You know, Thanos kind of has a point. You know, you're like, oh shit, you know. So Maxxine, obviously, I still don't think she has like a point, but I get it.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, I said Maxxine. I mean Pearl.
Yeah.
You know, after seeing Pearl, you're like, okay, I get why this old lady is doing all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, and then it kind of just, it basically, you go almost the whole movie without seeing any kills. It's just the old lady being infatuated with them, and then she ends up
peeking in the windows.
Yeah. And then basically like everybody fucking dies like at the end, other than Maxxine.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's take them through the kills.
Yeah, let's do it.
already at 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's why. Yeah. So let's start off with kill number 1.
Yeah. So kill number 1,
The shaggy motherfucker.
the shaggy motherfucker. So he's pissed because in the movie, Jenna Ortega, his girlfriend, her character, she kind of starts as this like shy. What does Wayne call her? Church mouse.
Yeah, church mouse.
Yeah.
Very timid.
Yeah, very timid and stuff. And she's like, I don't think I'd enjoy any of this stuff. And then she basically, after watching Brittany Snow and Maxxxine perform in the adult film,
Yep.
she's like, I want to do a scene. And so him, the shaggy dude,
Her boyfriend.
having to film his girlfriend. Like he was super against it at
Yeah.
first, and then, well, I mean, I guess he always was, but so he has to film her. So there's a scene where he's like crying in the shower, and then he's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna leave." So he takes the van, and he's driving away, and right before he leaves, Pearl is just in the middle of his, like, she's just right there. So he stops, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he gets out, and he goes up to Pearl. And he's like, okay, like, hey, you know, like, you need help or whatever. And she's just like, she starts hugging him. She starts kissing his neck. And he's like, whoa, like, chill out now. Like, lady, I don't really want that. And she's like, I could show you what I'm made of. And he's like, nope, I'm good. I'm okay. She doesn't like that answer. So she just stabs him in the fucking jugular.
Yep.
Like in front of the
headlight of the
headlights of the van. Yeah. And while Don't Fear the Reaper is playing.
Great song choice.
Don't fear the Reaper, baby, take my hand. Yeah, that shit. That's a good song. Great song choice for that. And so then she just starts kind of going ballistic. She starts, you know, just keeps stabbing him in the neck. Blood starts flying. It gets all over the headlights. And it's so cool how it turns the scene red.
Yeah.
Because the only lights, I guess, are, you know, the headlights. So then the blood gets on them, and then the whole thing is red, and it's so fucking sick. The cinematography is awesome in that scene.
That was a great way to shoot that scene.
Yeah. And then she gets up and does some, like I said, some Joker shit where she starts like dancing in the fucking, you know, just over the guy's body, like in the red light.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, if you haven't seen Pearl first, you'd probably be like, what the fuck is this lady doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you see Pearl, though, you're like, I know exactly what she's doing. Right. She wants to be a star, you know, she always wanted to be a star. And so then that's kind of it.
Yeah. Jenna Ortega's character wakes up, notices he's gone.
Yep.
She goes outside, tries to look for him, and Wayne stops her.
Mm-hmm.
Tells her to come back. She asks if he can help, and he finally gives and says, all right, I'll help you look for him a little bit. So she goes off, does her own thing, and you follow Wayne, and he goes to the barn to look for the shaggy guy. He's calling out for him, trying to find him, and while he's walking through, there's a nice shot of the ground, and you see this nice piece of wood sitting there, and sticking out of the piece of wood is a nail face up. And you just see his foot just go right on top of it, just right through his foot. And oh my gosh, that scene, you could feel the pain.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, if you guys watch horror, you know, there's certain kills and certain things.
And this wasn't even a kill yet.
I know, but it's like there's certain things that we see. Yeah, so it's one. If you watch horror films, you know there's certain kills or certain pains that like you can kind of feel. Even if you've never felt it before, and I think stepping on a nail.
Or if you have felt it before.
What do you mean?
I've felt a nail in my foot.
You're like an actual thing?
Yeah. I have a story for you.
Okay.
So, little side note.
Uh-huh.
My parents have a friend that used to flip houses.
Okay.
And so my parents got asked to go help over there. So we went over there. They're helping inside. I'm a young kid playing outside. There's scaffolding out there, so I was running on it, jumping, doing kid stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I decided to jump off, and as there are at construction sites, there's crap all over the place. And when I jump off the scaffolding, I land right on a nail into my foot.
Like just like how they do in the movies?
Yeah.
Okay, ow.
Yes. Yeah. Nail in my foot.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be playing on scaffoldings.
But yeah, lesson learned the hard way, I guess. You know?
It's all right.
Tough.
I remember my first beer.
Yep. But anyway, so, you know, you feel the pain.
Yeah.
Even if when you don't even know about it. Or you do.
Okay, here's one for you. Evil Dead Rise, the fucking cheese grater.
Oof.
In the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's one because
gnarly.
I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have gotten fucking cheese grated, but I haven't, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, like you're just like, oh God.
I hope none of you get cheese grated.
Yeah, she pulls the cheese grater out and there's all those like flaps of skin. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, so after Wayne steps on that, he goes and sees these the barn door shuts on him.
Yeah.
And he goes over to it and he sees these 3 holes and he peeks into one at a time and moves down the line.
Yeah.
And when he gets to the last one, a shadow comes over the light coming from the holes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen?
Somebody's there.
And then all of a sudden he just gets pitchforked right through the eye.
Signature pitchfork.
Yep. Pearl got
Pearl
him.
in her signature.
Yep. So that's the end of Wayne there.
Wayne.
Poor guy dies in his underwear.
Yeah, freaking tidy whities. That was such a funny scene though. Yeah, and then who's next? Was it Kid Cudi?
Yes.
Yeah, so he goes out, the old man comes out, Howard, and he's like, hey, he sees after he locks Jenna Ortega in the cellar, he sees Kid Cudi's character, Jackson Hole. He sees him just like, you know, out and about, and he's like, hey, my wife is missing or whatever, and he's like, all right, man, I got you, like, you know, I'm a Marine, well, I'll help you find her or whatever. So they go out in the swamp, and fucking Howard is the only one with a gun. He's got a shotgun, and fucking Kid Cudi's character just like turns and he's like, oh, it's all good, man, like we'll find her, and he's like, yeah, you bitch, and then fucking just blasts him. Blasts Kid Cudi away. So I mean, you don't get that. That's one thing I wish we could have seen it.
I know you don't.
You kind of just see him like the shot, and then he like just kind of flies past the camera, but it's not near the extent of like the next.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the other kills coming up, and then next is
Brittany Snow,
Bobby
right?
Lynn.
Yeah.
What happens to her?
Well, she hears things and she notices that people are not in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes outside and she sees Pearl at the dock, and she goes
Buck
to try
ass
and
naked.
naked. She goes to comfort her, puts her a little blanket around her, and then all of a sudden she's talking to Pearl, trying to be nice, and Pearl wasn't having it, saying she's a whore, right? She doesn't like her.
Yeah, I think Bobby Lynn in that scene reminded Pearl of that Minxie or whatever.
Yeah, completely. Doesn't like blondes.
Yeah,
it is mentioned because.
Oh yeah,
she says, I don't like blondes.
Yeah. After
she dumps her ass into the water.
I made the same joke twice during that scene. I was like, same Pearl.
Yep. So Pearl ends up pushing her into the pond where the alligator lies. And, well, Brittany Snow's head gets clamped by its jaws.
Oh, absolutely. Just fucking
snatched and just drowned. And you see blood come up from the water, and you're just like, oh man, she just got destroyed.
Yeah. So the gator has caught some bodies in this for sure.
Yes, it has.
And then so the old man goes back to the house, and Jenna Ortega's character tries to get out. She finds first she finds a body down there, just some random guy. We don't know who he is.
True.
But there's just a guy with a full on just dick shot, you know, he's just naked as fuck, just strung up. So she freaks out. She grabs a little hatchet she finds, and she starts trying to break down the door, and she reaches her hand through and tries to unlock the door, and the old man just fucking starts like bashing her hand, and her hand gets so fucked. That's another one too. You can like feel that. You're like, ugh, you know.
It reminds me of like when you smash your hand in a door or something.
Yeah.
But times 10, you know?
Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Made me cringe right there. Yeah, so she freaks out. She goes back down. And then he goes down to the one house where Pearl is naked and in bed caressing a sleeping Maxxine. And then Maxxine wakes up, freaks the fuck out, and then or maybe that was before Bobby Lynn died.
Doesn't really matter.
Either way.
We're just talking the kill, right?
Yeah, either way. So Maxxine is just chilling under the bed while Howard visits Pearl, and they have a little late night hanky panky.
Yeah. They're getting it on.
Yeah.
Little sexy time.
My man Howard still got it. Man was putting in work.
Oh, Howard.
Oh, yeah, dude. That shit was vulgar, man. She was just like...
so vocal. She was, fuck me, Howard.
Fuck me, Howard. Yeah.
You're sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And she's under the bed as it's just fucking like getting like pushed onto her.
But that distraction allows Maxxine to take off. So she runs back to the house, and she finds Jenna Ortega, and she gets her out, and that's when Jenna Ortega's character starts getting all pissed, and she's like, "Oh, fucking, you guys suck. I hate you guys." She's like, "I'm not even trying to be here." You're just like, "Whoa, all right, chill out." And then she fucking runs out the door and just gets fucking blasted.
Yep, blown away. First time we watched that, we both just were like, oh shit.
Fully unexpected, but just gets fucking boom, red mist, body drops, like, god damn. Yeah. So that Jenna Ortega gets fucking blasted. And actually, if you guys want to see too the makeup work on her, I know she posted on her Instagram story or something some behind the scenes pictures of X, and the makeup work is incredible. So if you have the chance, I would go.
Yeah, definitely look it up.
Go look it up because it's pretty cool.
Yep. And so Howard and Pearl come up the hill after they shot her, and try to move her body inside. And as they're doing that, Howard starts having a heart attack.
Yep.
He just starts having a heart attack, and Maxxine is there in the hallway watching it happen, and Pearl goes, "He's having a heart attack. Please help."
She's like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah. And then Pearl gets all mad, and Maxxine points the gun at her.
Yeah, we have a little Mia Goth shakedown there.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Mia Goth versus Mia Goth.
She goes to pull the trigger, and all you hear is click. And
yeah.
Shit. Mia's like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta go."
Yeah.
The old lady Pearl, she grabs the shotgun, and Mia Goth ducks, and she shoots it and blasts herself out the front door.
Yeah, Pearl has to be like 60 pounds because that fucking shotgun blasted her so far back. She breaks her hip, and then fucking Maxxine just walks out and then gets in the car, fucking just runs her head over.
Yeah, and right before her head explodes like a watermelon, she calls her a whore, which I found funny.
Yeah, yeah. And then Maxxine takes a bump of coke on the steering wheel and then drives off, presumably to Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it seems we pick up a few years later.
Yep, but I think, so that's it. Those are the two movies. I would give Pearl a solid 8.5. I would give X a solid 8.7.
Just roughly there as well for me.
Yeah. I do love those movies. Mia Goth is huge. They have like these star-studded casts, you know. I mean, especially Maxxine. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for that, go look at the trailer because the cast
watch
in
both
that
of them.
He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, you got Lily Collins.
Yeah, you have. I know the detective guy. I know there's Kevin Bacon. There's Giancarlo Esposito. There's
many more.
Yeah, there's a lot that I like. You just know. You see him and you're like, oh, that guy's in it. Oh, that dude's in it. Oh, that girl's in it.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
It's a big, strong cast. It's crazy.
It's huge. And then, it's cool though because, you know, the whole point, I guess, of the trilogy is how far would you go for, like, fame and stardom.
Yeah.
And it's like when they say, "I'm not going to let anybody stop me," it seems like Pearl and Maxxine have that in common. They really aren't going to let anybody stop them to the point where they would kill them to get there.
Yeah, I'm really interested on the take Ti West will do with Maxxine.
Yeah.
Because he ties the Night Stalker into it.
Exactly, which is a real world thing, which we will be talking about next week.
Yes. And I just find that fascinating.
I think, so there's You haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, have you?
No, I have not.
So it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, and in the film, it's a real world Hollywood, right? It's supposed to be historically accurate, and it kind of surrounds Sharon Tate, who's played by Margot Robbie, and back then Sharon Tate, unfortunately, Charles Manson and his followers, his followers broke into her house and unfortunately murdered her. Super sad. And the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood follows Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, who play fictional characters, but they're like best buds and super funny and stuff. But there's a side story where there's Charles Manson and then there's Sharon Tate and stuff. And basically on that fateful night, you know, everybody, you're kind of sitting there and you're like, damn, we really have to watch Sharon Tate get like murdered and stuff. But the followers go into the wrong house, which is with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, and those two guys just absolutely fuck them up. And it's like one of the best endings too. It's like it's a twist on like an unfortunate thing that happened. It's like we all wish it would have turned out like that instead, you know, but unfortunately it didn't. So what I'm thinking is Maxxxine is going to do something kind of similar with that. I think we'll go into depth with the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, who was a real son of a bitch and literally like a demon in human clothes, dude. Like that guy was a fucking asshole. And so we're going to talk about him. But what I hope is that Maxxxine fucking offs his ass.
That would be an interesting take.
I would love that shit. If it's like this whole like trilogy is literally just to build up to fucking Maxxxine killing the Night Stalker, dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, but overall, I'm really excited for the last part of the trilogy.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gonna go, but we'll talk a little bit more about it next week.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. We are gonna go in depth on the Night Stalker because that, unfortunately, while it is going to be a part of Maxxxine, it is something that happened. He was a real guy. He did some really messed up stuff. And so we're going to talk about that. So next week will be kind of a true crime episode.
Slash Maxxxine.
Slash Maxxxine. Hopefully he doesn't slash Maxxxine. That would suck.
Because that episode's going to come out right before the movie.
Yes. So we kind of want to build up a little bit of hype for that. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoy that a little bit. We hope you guys enjoy listening to us talk a little bit about X and Pearl.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun. What are we at?
An hour.
Nice.
So
good to sign off.
Yeah. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Supernaturals, and we've been your hosts, Jake and Cal, and
we'll see you around the graveyard.
Yeah. Which one is it?
Blue.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.